Amina was known by almost everyone, not because she was loud or proud, but because her work spoke for her. She was a weaver, but not just any weaver. There was something different about the way Amina created her fabrics. Every thread she touched seemed to come alive. The colors she chose told stories, stories of love, history, family, and hope. People would often say that when you wore Amina's fabric, you did not just look beautiful. You felt something deep inside. Her workshop was located in a clean, well-developed part of the town. Large glass windows allowed sunlight to pour in, lighting up the bright fabrics that hung neatly around the room. The space was peaceful, yet full of life. Customers came from different cities. Some came in expensive cars, others traveled long distances just to meet her. But no matter who you were, Amina treated you the same with respect, kindness, and warmth. And that was what made her truly special. Her home was just as welcoming as her workshop. It was always filled with laughter. Children played freely, neighbors stopped by to talk, and there was always food for anyone who needed it. Amina believed in helping others. She believed that success meant nothing if you could not lift others with you. Among all the people in her life, there was one person she trusted more than anyone else. Her name was Zola. Zola came into Amina's life years ago, at a time when she had nothing. She was young, quiet, and seemed lost. When Amina first met her, she saw potential in her, a spark that only needed guidance. So Amina took her in. She did not just train her as an apprentice. She treated her like family. She fed her, clothed her, and taught her everything she knew. From the simplest patterns to the most complex ancestral designs, Amina held nothing back. Even the most sacred techniques, those passed down from her grandmother, she shared with Zola without fear. That was how much she trusted her. They worked side by side every day. They laughed together. They shared stories. Sometimes they stayed up late into the night, weaving and talking about their dreams. People often admired their bond. They are like sisters, some would say. No, they are even closer than sisters, others would add. And truly, it seemed that way. But behind Zola's gentle smile, something else was growing, something dark. At first, it was just a small feeling, a quiet thought. Every time customers praised Amina, Zola felt a slight discomfort in her chest. "You are the best," they would say to Amina. "No one can do what you do." Zola would stand there, smiling politely. But inside, her thoughts were different. "What about me?" she would wonder. "Don't they see how much I have learned? Why is it always her?" At first, she ignored the feeling, but over time, it grew stronger. Jealousy slowly took root in her heart, and instead of fighting it, she allowed it to grow. The turning point came on a quiet evening. Amina had just completed a new collection, her most beautiful work yet. The designs were unique, deeply inspired by her ancestors, and unlike anything she had ever made before, Zola saw them. And in that moment, something inside her changed completely. She did not just admire the work. She wanted it. She wanted the praise. She wanted the attention. She wanted to be seen. And in her mind, she began to believe that she deserved it more. That night, she made a decision, a dangerous one. When the house was quiet and everyone was asleep, Zola quietly stood up. Her heart was beating fast, but her mind was already made up. She walked slowly into Amina's weaving room. That room was sacred. It held years of hard work, history, and legacy. Zola looked around. For a brief moment, she hesitated. But then, she continued. She gathered the designs, the fabrics, and the special threads. She packed everything carefully. Then, without saying a word to anyone, she left. By morning, she was gone. And with her, she took a part of Amina's life. Days passed before the truth began to unfold. News started spreading about a new designer in a nearby city. Her name was Zola. She was rising quickly, gaining attention and selling stunning fabrics. But what shocked people the most was how familiar the designs looked. It did not take long for the truth to reach Amina. At first, she refused to believe it. "No, not Zola," she said softly. She would never do that. But as more people came with the same story, as her customers began to disappear, as whispers filled the town, she could no longer deny it. The truth was clear. Zola had betrayed her. The pain was overwhelming. It was not just about the stolen designs. It was about the trust, the love, the years she had invested in someone she believed in. Amina felt broken. She stopped working. She avoided people. Her once lively home became quiet. The laughter disappeared. Even the bright fabrics in her workshop seemed to lose their color. For the first time in her life, Amina felt completely lost. Anger began to grow inside her. She thought about confronting Zola. She thought about exposing her. She even thought about revenge. But deep down, she knew that path would only destroy her further. One evening, as she sat alone in silence, an elderly woman came to visit her. Her name was Mama Nkem. She was known for her wisdom and calm presence. She did not ask many questions. She simply sat beside Amina and looked at her with understanding. After a long silence, she spoke. "If someone steals your light," she said gently, "do not sit in darkness. Create a new light." Then she stood up and left. Those words stayed with Amina. That night, she could not sleep. She kept thinking about them, and by morning, she made a choice. She would not chase Zola. She would not fight her. Instead, she would rebuild herself. It was not easy. The first few days were the hardest. She had nothing. No designs, no inspiration, no confidence. But slowly, she began again. She reached deep into her memory. She remembered the old stories her grandmother used to tell her. She remembered the forgotten patterns, the deeper meanings behind each design. This time, she did not just create for beauty. She created from her pain, from her experience, from her strength. And something incredible began to happen. Her work became even more powerful than before. It was no longer just fabric. It was expression. It was truth. One day, a traveler visited her workshop. He saw her new designs, and he was amazed. "I have never seen anything like this," he said. He took her work with him, and from that moment, everything changed. Amina's name began to rise again, but this time, it reached even greater heights. Her work spread across cities, then across regions. People spoke of her not just as a weaver, but as an artist, a storyteller, a symbol of strength. Meanwhile, Zola's success began to fade. At first, she enjoyed everything: the fame, the attention, the money. But she had one problem. She could copy, but she could not create. Over time, people noticed. Her designs became repetitive. They lacked depth. They lacked soul. Customers started asking questions. Then they stopped coming. Her biggest moment of failure came when a major client returned her work. "This has no life," he said. That was when everything began to fall apart. Her reputation collapsed. Her business failed. And worst of all, she was left alone. Guilt began to consume her. Every night, she thought about Amina, about what she had done, about what she had lost. Finally, she returned. She went back to the place she once called home. When she saw Amina again, she could not believe her eyes. Amina looked stronger, brighter, at peace. Zola fell to her knees. She cried. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was wrong. I was jealous. Please forgive me." Amina looked at her quietly. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, she spoke. "I trusted you, and you broke me." She paused. "But I will not carry that pain anymore." And with that, she turned and walked away. Zola remained there, alone. That was her true punishment. Not anger, not revenge, but loss. As for Amina, she continued to grow, not just in success, but in peace. Female message: trust is powerful, but betrayal does not define you. Your strength, your value, your light, they all come from within, and no one can take that away from you.